Hector, having heard these words, slowly opened his eyes. The leader approached him again, grabbed his hair, lifted his head, and positioned the knife to cut his throat. At that moment, Hector grabbed the hand with the knife, rose up, and stood. The fanatic leader could not understand how someone who had been lying helplessly moments ago could now be so strong. Hector stood up and said, "With the tightest security in place, you managed to enter this temple, which means someone from here must have helped you. Let's see if your words reveal the truth. I've taken some blows from you, but now let me return the favor," and he struck the leader's shoulder hard. The leader's arm broke and he fell, screaming. As the leader fell, his followers left Khadr and moved towards Hector. Hector, looking at Khadr, said, "You made a mistake, Khadr." Upon hearing those words, Khadr collapsed to his knees in utter exhaustion. It didn't take long for Hector to finish off the remaining lunatics. Once they were all defeated, he walked straight to the room where the captives were held and instructed them to come out. As he stepped out of the temple's grand gate, which opened beneath the towering Gopuram, the crowd that had been anxiously waiting outside finally breathed a sigh of relief at the sight of him. As the captives emerged, some soldiers went inside and took control of the fallen lunatics. Khadr was still on his knees in the temple when Hector ordered the soldiers to take him into custody as well. Hector then approached the sages waiting outside the temple and said, "As you wished, I have completed the task without spilling a drop of blood in the temple. You must be pleased now, right?" The sages stood there with their heads bowed. Swati was a bit alarmed when she saw how badly he was injured. Seeing her concern, Hector said, "It's nothing serious. A couple of days of rest, and I'll be fine." She helped him walk back home. As he had predicted, after 2 days of rest, he recovered and got back on his feet. Without wasting any time, he headed to the royal palace. Upon seeing him, the king said, "You could have taken a few more days of rest until you fully recovered." "No need, Your Majesty. I'm feeling well enough now." "How far has the investigation into those lunatics progressed? Have we identified who gave them shelter in this kingdom?" Hector asked. "Why are you so concerned about that? No matter how much we interrogate them, those lunatics refuse to speak. They are even prepared to die rather than reveal who is behind them or who gave them shelter in this kingdom," the king replied. "Your Majesty, I wish to personally investigate this matter. If you permit, I would like to start working on this from tomorrow," Hector requested. "This isn't urgent. Take your time to fully recover first, and then we can deal with this," said the king. "No, Your Majesty, I'm perfectly fine now. If you allow, I will begin tomorrow," Hector insisted, leaving the king no choice but to grant his permission with a "very well." That day, Hector spent a long time pondering how to resolve the issue. Swati wasn't pleased that he was returning to work before fully recovering, but she didn't want to stop him, so she said nothing. The next morning, Hector headed straight to the prison. He observed the condition of the lunatics being interrogated there. Their bodies were already covered in wounds and drenched in blood from the brutal torture inflicted by the soldiers to extract the truth from them. Hector approached the leader of the lunatics and sat down in front of him. He touched the wounds on his shoulders caused by the thorny cane used to beat him. The man winced in pain. Hector then said, "If you answer our questions, I'll ensure you have a quick and painless death instead of this agonizing torture." Why suffer unnecessarily? Who in our kingdom gave you shelter? How did the weapons get into the temple? Tell me. The man glared at him with anger and said, "No matter whom you ask among us, none will reveal these details to you, even if it costs our lives," and then lowered his head. "How will you tell me after you're dead? Come on, that's why you should reveal the details now, while you're still alive, and have an easier death without this torture. I'll return in the evening. By then, all of you should have reached a decision. Will you talk and die peacefully, or die without saying a word?" said Hector as he got up to leave. As he was walking away, a guard standing nearby asked, "Commander, should we continue beating them?" Hector leaned in and whispered in his ear, "You can beat them until there's no unmarked spot left on their bodies, but leave them in peace for a few days. I'll tell you what to do with them later. Understand? Be careful." He said the last part firmly, gave the lunatics one last look, and then left. The lunatics looked at the guard suspiciously, not knowing what Hector had told him. Hector then went directly to the cell where Khadir was being held. Upon seeing him, Khadir lowered his head and stood silently. "I'm not interested in your silence. What I need is the truth. If you tell me what really happened and cooperate with the investigation, I'll speak to the king and arrange for your sentence to be reduced," Hector said. Unable to hold back his emotions any longer, Khadir, who had been suppressing his pain for 2 days, burst into tears. After a moment, he wiped his eyes and said, "I was deceived, my friend. I believed them when they said we would peacefully transform this kingdom into an Islamic state. 2 days after the attack in the marketplace, a man met me near the mosque and asked me to come to a certain place for a secret conversation. Curious about what he wanted to discuss, I went to the location at the appointed time. That was when I first met the leader of the lunatics. As soon as I realized he was the one behind the attack on the people in the marketplace, I tried to hit him in anger. But he stopped me and said he did it to establish Islamic rule in this kingdom. That was his goal." His words made me even angrier. I asked him how he planned to establish peaceful Islamic rule by killing the people here. He admitted it was a mistake and said they now had a peaceful plan to establish Islam here. They needed my help to implement it. They wanted me to replace the current king. Isn't the king supposed to be someone who actually cares about this kingdom? Our Hussein is the one who's been fighting for this kingdom, who's been working hard for it. So they said they planned to place either Hussein or me on the throne and establish Islamic rule through us. Realized that Hussein would be a better ruler than me. The people also support him strongly. So, I asked them what they wanted me to do to make it happen. They told me they would enter the temple disguised as ordinary devotees, take the devotees their hostage, and then call you and the king to the temple. They planned to force the king to declare you, Hector, as the new king. If the king refused, they were prepared to eliminate him and make you the king anyway. I asked them how they planned to control the devotees without weapons since I knew they wouldn't let me bring weapons into the temple. I also wondered if you, Hussein, would even agree to become king. They assured me that they would take care of everything and that all I had to do was help reduce the number of devotees and soldiers in the temple. I agreed to their plan because they promised to make you the king. When I was sending everyone out of the temple, I pretended to be their hostage. But at the last moment, I realized that their true intention was to kill you. That's when I understood the treason I had committed out of greed. That's why I ended up like this," Khadir said, wiping away his tears. Hector nodded his head and said, "You made a grave mistake, Khadir. If I had asked, our generous king would have directly declared me as his successor. Since his son, Veera Virupaksha, distanced himself from him, the king has lost all interest in ruling the kingdom. When he once said that he would declare me as his successor, I declined, stating that I was only interested in protecting the kingdom, not ruling it. How could you even think of betraying such a man? But tell me, do you have any connection to the weapons entering the temple?" Khadir, surprised, responded, "That's what I don't understand. I still can't figure out who else helped them." "Whatever the case, you will not escape punishment for the wrong you have done," said Hector as he started to leave. "Now that I've confessed my mistake to you, I feel at peace. I'm ready to face any punishment," Khadir replied. Hector patted him on the shoulder and proceeded towards the temple. As soon as the guards at the temple gate saw Hector, they saluted him. With the intention of not allowing weapons into the temple, you two were only given long sticks and whips. Yet, somehow, enough swords for 20 people made their way inside the temple. I need to know how this happened. Think carefully and tell me if anyone was let in without being searched that day, Hector asked them. After a moment of thought, the guards replied, "No, sir, we never let anyone in without searching them." Hector asked again, "Think hard. Did you notice anything suspicious that day?" One of the guards then said, "Yes, sir, on that day, the chief priest of our temple brought in a large vessel of Chitrannam, seasoned rice. When I asked what it was, he said it was to be offered as Naivedyam, sacred food, to Lord Rama. When I tried to inspect it, he told me that no one should touch it before offering it to the deity, so we let it inside without checking." The Hector instructed them, "Make sure this doesn't happen again," and as he was heading towards the chief priest, an elderly woman approached him, thanking him for rescuing her from the lunatics who had captured her 3 days ago. Posted by For the next episode of Hector, comment next episode. And subscribe my channel. Press the bell icon for next updates. Thank you. See you in next video.